You were taught that being good meant being silent, agreeable, and self-sacrificing. But what if that goodness is costing you your identity? In this video, we expose the hidden guilt behind every yes you didn't mean, and why saying no feels dangerous, even when it's the most loving thing you can do. Chapter 1. The Childhood Blueprint. You didn't choose to feel guilty for saying no. That feeling was planted in you long before you had words for it. It started in the quiet moments when you were praised for being easy, for not making a fuss, for putting others first. Maybe you were the child who sensed tension and tried to fix it. Maybe you learned that being good meant being invisible. This kind of conditioning doesn't come with loud warnings. It comes with smiles, with subtle praise, with the unspoken rule, don't disappoint. You were rewarded for compliance, not for authenticity. And over time, you began to believe that your needs were dangerous. That saying no would make you selfish, ungrateful, or even unlovable. Some children grow up in homes where love feels conditional. You're loved when you're helpful. You're safe when you're agreeable. You're accepted when you don't challenge the rules. And so you adapt. You become the peacemaker, the helper, the one who never says no, even when your body screams for rest, for space, for truth. This isn't just about parenting styles. It's about survival. Children are wired to seek connection. If saying yes keeps the peace, they'll say yes to everything. Even to things that hurt. Even to things that silence them. Psychologist Alice Miller once said, "The child has no choice but to adapt to the needs of the parents, even if it means losing their true self." That quote hits hard because it's true. Many of us lost pieces of ourselves trying to be what others needed, and now as adults we carry that guilt like a shadow. You might notice it when someone asks for a favor and your stomach tightens. You want to say no, but your mouth says yes. You feel the guilt before the words even leave your lips. It's not logic, it's a reflex. A deeply ingrained fear that saying no will cost you love, respect, or safety. And here's the twist. The more you say yes when you mean no, the more resentment builds. You start to feel drained, bitter, even angry. But instead of blaming the pattern, you blame yourself. You think, why can't I just be more generous? Or why do I feel so selfish? That's the trap. You were trained to feel guilty for protecting yourself. This guilt isn't just emotional, it's physical. It lives in your body, in the tightness in your chest, the lump in your throat, the tension in your jaw. It's your nervous system reacting to a perceived threat. Saying no feels like danger even when it's not. And yet deep down you know something's off. You know that constantly pleasing others is costing you something. Your energy, your time, your truth. That's why you're here watching this. Because part of you is ready to break the pattern. You might remember moments from childhood where you were punished. Not with anger, but with silence, disappointment, withdrawal. That's how guilt is taught. Not through loud voices, but through quiet ones. Through the feeling that you've let someone down just by being honest. And when that pattern repeats enough, it becomes your default. You say yes to avoid conflict. You say yes to feel safe. You say yes because somewhere inside you believe your no is dangerous, but here's the truth. Your no is sacred. It's the boundary that protects your energy, your time, your soul. It's not a rejection, it's a declaration. A way of saying, I matter too. Still, that guilt doesn't vanish overnight. It's sticky. It clings to you in moments when you try to speak up. It whispers, don't be difficult. Don't make them upset. Don't ruin the moment. And so you shrink. You smile. You agree. You disappear, but you're not meant to disappear. You're meant to take up space, to speak, to choose, to say yes when you mean yes and no when you mean no. If this resonates with you, consider subscribing to the channel. These videos are made for people like you, people who are ready to understand themselves, heal, and reclaim their voice. Your journey matters, and I'd love to walk it with you. Now let's go deeper, because guilt isn't just a feeling, it's a signal. And in the next chapter, we'll decode what it's really trying to tell you. Chapter 2. The Psychology of Guilt. You've seen how guilt is planted early, through praise, silence, and survival. But what is guilt really? Why does it feel so heavy, so automatic, so hard to shake? Guilt is more than a feeling. It's a signal, a psychological alarm that goes off when we believe we've violated something important, an internal rule, a moral code, a relationship bond. But here's the catch: those rules aren't always yours. They were often written by someone else. As children, we absorb emotional codes from the people around us. If your family valued obedience over honesty, you learned that truth was dangerous. If your worth was tied to how helpful or agreeable you were, you learned that boundaries were betrayal. These emotional codes become your internal compass. And guilt is what you feel when you try to walk in a different direction. That's why saying no feels so wrong. It's not just about the moment, it's about what it represents. A break from the script. A challenge to the role you were assigned. You weren't just taught to be kind. You were taught that kindness meant self-erasure, that love meant sacrifice, that peace meant silence, and so guilt becomes your guardrail. It keeps you in line. It whispers, don't upset them. Don't be difficult. Don't be selfish. You feel it in your body before you even speak. A tight chest. A racing heart. A sudden flush of shame. That's not weakness, it's conditioning. But guilt isn't always toxic. Healthy guilt helps us stay connected. It reminds us when we've hurt someone, when we've crossed a line, when we need to make things right. Toxic guilt, though, is different. It shows up when you haven't done anything wrong, when you're simply choosing yourself, when you're setting a boundary, when you're saying no to protect your energy, your time, your truth. Toxic guilt is sneaky. It disguises itself as compassion. It tells you that you're being thoughtful, generous, loving, but underneath it's fear. Fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, fear of being seen as bad. You're not afraid of saying no. You're afraid of what it might cost you. And that fear is powerful. It can shape your entire life. You might overcommit, overextend, over-apologize. You might stay in relationships that drain you, jobs that exhaust you, conversations that silence you, all because guilt tells you that choosing yourself is wrong. But here's the truth. Guilt isn't always a compass. Sometimes it's a cage, and the key to unlocking it is awareness. You have to notice when guilt shows up. You have to ask, whose rule did I break? Whose voice is this? Is this guilt protecting me or punishing me? When you start asking those questions, something shifts. You begin to see guilt not as a truth, but as a story you were handed. A story you can rewrite. That rewriting doesn't happen overnight. It takes practice. It takes courage. It takes moments where you say no and feel the guilt, and choose to sit with it instead of obeying it. You'll feel uncomfortable. You'll second-guess yourself. But slowly, the guilt will lose its grip, and in its place, something else will grow. Clarity, strength, self-respect. You'll start to recognize that your no isn't a rejection. It's a boundary. A way of saying, oh, I matter too. A way of honoring your time, your energy, your truth. This is where healing begins. Not by erasing guilt, but by understanding it. By seeing it clearly. By choosing to act from self-awareness instead of fear. Let's keep going. Because now that you understand guilt's voice, it's time to learn how to speak back. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to say no without shame, and how to reclaim your boundaries with love, not fear. Chapter 3. Reclaiming your boundaries. Now that you've seen how guilt operates, how it's shaped by emotional conditioning and disguised as care, you're ready to meet it with something stronger. Clarity. Not defiance, not coldness, just truth. Saying no isn't a rejection. It's a return. A return to yourself, to your energy, your time, your values. But when guilt has been your compass for so long, even the smallest boundary can feel like betrayal. That's why the first step isn't to fight guilt, it's to understand it. To notice when it shows up and ask, what am I afraid will happen if I say no? Often the fear isn't about the request itself. It's about what it represents. A break from the role you were assigned. A challenge to the emotional script you've been performing for years. You weren't just taught to be kind. You were taught that kindness meant disappearing. That love meant sacrifice. That peace meant silence, but boundaries aren't selfish. They're sacred. They're the lines that protect your inner world. They're the way you say, I matter too. And the more you practice setting them, the more you begin to trust that your needs aren't dangerous. They're valid. Start small. You don't need to justify your boundaries with long explanations. You don't need to prove that you're still a good person. A simple, I can't right now, or that doesn't work for me is enough. The discomfort that follows isn't a sign that you're wrong. It's a sign that you're growing. At first, it will feel unnatural. You'll want to soften your no, wrap it in apologies, offer alternatives. That's okay. You're unlearning years of emotional reflexes. You're rewiring your nervous system to believe that safety doesn't come from self-sacrifice. It comes from self-respect. And here's something powerful. Every time you say no with intention, you teach your body that it's safe to choose yourself. You build a new emotional memory, one that says I can honor my limits and still be loved. One that says I don't have to disappear to belong. You might lose people along the way. Some relationships are built on your silence, your compliance, your endless yes. When you start saying no, those dynamics shift, and not everyone will like it. But the ones who stay, the ones who respect your boundaries, are the ones who truly see you. This isn't about becoming rigid or cold. It's about becoming clear. You're allowed to care deeply and still say no. You're allowed to be generous and still protect your time. You're allowed to love people and still choose yourself. And the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. You'll start to notice when guilt shows up, and you'll meet it with compassion, not obedience. You'll start to feel the difference between a yes that drains you and a yes that energizes you. You'll start to trust your own voice. This is the hidden cost of being good. The erosion of your boundaries, your energy, your truth. But now you've seen it. You've named it, and you're ready to choose something different. You're not here to be good. You're here to be whole.